Hey guys, what is going on? This is Travis P11. I'd like to welcome you back to the channel, and we're going to start up a new series of videos here on the channel that I'm going to call Bubba versus Babushka. And before we can talk about what the series is going to be about, I think we need some introductions. So up first we have a Chinese SKS that's been sporterized, and I'm going to go ahead and name this SKS Bubba. Now if you're not familiar with the term Bubba in the gun world, it's essentially where you take a normal stock gun and you more or less sporterize it to give it some kind of good old boy characteristics, or kind of make it a little more tactical, or whatever you want to call it, all right? So this one's been Bubbafied, so we're going to call this SKS Bubba. It has the Combat Exchange brand, that's what it says online, stock, so we'll just call it Combat Exchange. And it's an aftermarket, basically drop-in stock that allows you to modify the SKS. Now, this is not done in any kind of way that's going to permanently damage the SKS at all. Notice that we don't have a bayonet in the front, but the Combat Exchange stock does have a groove in the front there where your SKS can fold around. Also, this particular setup has a removable one-piece 30-round magazine. Let's go and get that out for you. By the way, the weapon has been safety checked prior to us filming. And one of the disadvantages right off the top is you're stuck with this kind of a design if you don't want to go with the little internal box magazine setup. So this is nice, except this is kind of bulky. It's one piece, it's not removable. Magazine pouch carryability might be kind of difficult, and I'm sure you can find these. I really haven't even looked for them, but that's the setup that Bubba is going to be running. Now, we also need to have an introduction of Babushka. So Babushka is Russian for grandma. Now I've got a Eastern European immigrant grandmother, and there's a lot of characteristics that I see in this rifle that I remember from my own grandmother. And so anyway, Babushka is a 1953 just immaculate Tula SKS rifle. Taking apart and cleaning it, other than being factory fired, I don't know if it's ever been shot before. There's very minimal wear and tear on any of the pieces whatsoever. For being, I don't even know, over 60 years old, this thing is in incredible condition. You've got a chrome lined barrel, you got the original bayonet, all numbers matching, just an absolutely beautiful wood stock. I haven't even touched it. I haven't used any kind of varnish or polish on it whatsoever. Just awesome. And so this is going to be kind of the basis from which we're going to compare Bubba to Babushka. So let's go back to Bubba here for just a minute or two. The thing is, SKS rifles, you can pick them up for $299, right? And you know, if you get them with that little of an investment in the rifle, you might get something that's non-numbers matching, that's kind of a beater. You might decide that you want to go the sporterized route. These stocks, when I'm seeing online, these sell for $60 to $100, and I don't even know if they're still available new. There are some cool advantages you get when you go the sporterized route, when you go with any kind of a sporter setup on an SKS rifle. For one thing, you've got really comfortable ergonomics. You've got some aggressive checkering on the handguard right here, the stock, and it makes it very comfortable. There's a long zone that you can grip and make it work well for you. You've got a nice, kind of almost like an M4 style AR pistol grip on it, which is biased towards right-hand shooters, as you can see with that little molding in there. You can still retain your sling. You got your clip up on the front. You've got a clip down here in the bottom. You actually have a little storage compartment in here, which is pretty cool. You don't have to do any kind of modifications to the trigger or the magazine well. I haven't verified this, but I believe you could run the 10-round box mag on here. Bubba came with the 30-round attachment. Very compact for portability. I mean, this thing's basically a foot shorter than your basic SKS. And that's nice if, you know, for travel. This thing actually came, I believe, to SS Pawn in a junior-sized golf bag. That's what the person that owned it before transported it in as an inconspicuous way to carry around the rifle in their vehicle. Hey, no harm, no foul, right? And again, the bolt mechanism is unmodified. You really don't get any kind of optics advantage if you go this route. You can't exactly easily mount a scope to it from what I can see. This is just using the standard field sights and so on. Now, the one thing I don't like about it, poor little Bubba here, when you fold out the stock, it's very easy to do. You just press this button right here. You've got a non-adjustable, really long stock. So it is comfortable. It's a decent sized stock. It does fit well. You don't really get much of a cheek rest on it, not much of a comb whatsoever. So you kind of have to lift your head up a little bit to get down on the sights. Also, it adds a lot of length to it, and this might not fit everyone. I mean, even on me, this is a bit cumbersome and long, but it would give you some fairly stable shots. So that's kind of the trade-off for going with the non-adjustable folding stock. I did take it apart and clean it. It should function well. It was really, really cruddy. Inside it had a lot of carbon fouling, a little bit of stickiness, almost like some cosmoline was still in it. I don't know the year of production. I'm assuming it's a Norinco. It doesn't say Norinco on it, but it does have the Chinese stamping on the sides. And so some of you that are SKS experts, just kind of glancing at it, maybe you can give me an idea. I need to get into the identification of it. But overall, I mean, it is comfortable, it is agile, close quarters combat, you know, vehicle carry and so on. It really does shorten it up quite a bit. It gives you a substantial amount of firepower, in my opinion. And then we've got Babushka. Babushka is completely unmodified, basic, standard, comfortable to hold, comfortable to shoot. You know, you don't have any kind of grip texturing, so it is going to be a little bit slick depending on the conditions and what you're shooting in. Nice rugged design, unmodified. And so once we actually take it out and shoot and just kind of see how it feels, we'll start to answer the question, should you modify your SKS or even spend the money on it, or just basically keep it as is? And there's a ton of aftermarket options for stocks out there in SKSs. You can get them now with collapsible stocks or with just like your traditional like M4 style stocks. I'm looking over on Etsy, and there's people that make hand-carved wood stocks for these, so if you don't want to bang up your original stock but you still want to shoot the gun, you can do that too. And so we're going to put Babushka through the ringer a little bit. We'll be shooting some good, as I call it, wolf white box ammo through Bubba and Babushka, and just kind of see how the overall feel is. So the idea here is, should you sporterize or should you not? And again, if you're sitting on one that's non-numbers matching, you might decide, well, you know, we're just going to go ahead and mess around with it, or you just might want to keep it as is. And so that's going to be totally up to you. So please join us for part 2 when we take Bubba and Babushka to the range for just some offhand shooting, some basic firing, some accuracy testing, to kind of see how the ergonomics work on the sporterized stock versus the standard stock. So thanks for joining us for part 1. Please join us for Caliber Corner, which is a podcast that we do every week. We talk about firearms. Caliber Corner happens Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. Central Time. Once in a while we do a Monday night show, but we just talk firearms and ammunition the whole time, so make sure you join us. So anyway, guys, please like and subscribe. Have fun, be safe, be watching for the next series of videos on Bubba versus Babushka, and we will talk to you soon. Vespadonia.